Back in the house with a 9-4.
You did good, sir.
I feel like Princess Peach, rose gold on my Mercedes. Rose gold on my bitch, looking like her name Mercedes. I need a hoe who down on them eyes, what up ladies? Switched out the friendly smile, but the face that reads, fuck you pay me. Ain't got rabies, I just overdose off coke, and if I know, they hope I die.
What's up, guys? We are finally back. My name's XiX from XiX Sports Network.
And I'm Ethan, mistaken for Bacon.
And of course, we did miss last week's episode. This wasn't because of my procrastination. Our work schedules kind of conflicted, so it didn't work out in the end. But we are finally back. But before we continue, obviously this was announced like a couple weeks ago, but I do have to address it because it was one of my Cowboy players, Marshawn Lehman, passed away. That is a surreal situation that was kind of going on. I was actually en route at my job when my brother called me, and I wasn't able to answer him because I was with somebody else. I don't want to be rude, but he goes, "Bro, Marshawn Lehman passed away," and I was like, "What the fuck?" And of course, it was like 3 days after he had just scored. So
Yeah.
pretty surreal. Check on your loved ones. It sucks. Rest in peace, Marshawn Lehman. But luckily, the Cowboys played their hearts out against the Raiders. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens betted their lives out for some reason too. But obviously we weren't able to pick last week, but we did discuss our picks amongst each other, and of course I already added into the standings and all that stuff. So with that being said, week 11 standings. Obviously you can see that I missed more than him. Also, I hope you like the new logo.
Yeah.
The reason why I switched it is because I lost the template to the old one. So I wasn't able to edit it. So I decided, you know what, screw it, we'll make an updated one, of course, the Flor de Lis, the Dinastía Delgado, of course. But I missed 5 games, he only missed 3. We both missed the Chargers versus Jaguars game. Chargers are frauds.
Yeah.
Jaguars beat the shit out of them. We lost the Bears and, no, which one did we match? The Chiefs and Broncos.
Yeah.
I think we both picked the Broncos because the Chiefs won, right? And then, other than that, I missed this game. What the fuck, Marcus Mariota? First fucking pass you throw in overtime and it's a pick. I don't know what the fuck happened there. What happened there? Oh, that's right, overtime too, right?
Yeah,
Panthers ended up winning.
And
we discussed that one. Fucking Lions, you were supposed to do me a favor, bro, and of course they didn't. And you missed the Bears and Vikings, actually.
I did. The Bears went on a field goal there, and barely no pick, really.
Barely, but other than that, he ended up going. Damn it, one shot. He ended up going. Oh, wrong one. Whoops, my fault. Damn it. my bad.
Fucking hey,
What the fuck?
This?
I guess I didn't. 1 second. Now with all the fuck ups, week 11 standings.
Yeah.
He ended up going 12-3. I ended up going 10-5, and now he jumps in the lead.
Yeah.
98, 67-1. I fucked up. But I'll fix it later. But the point is, it would be 98, 67. It would be 95 and 64. So, and of course the one tie But other than that, I forgot to save the screenshots for our games. We'll just put the logo. You want to go around the Seahawks first?
Yeah, guys. So it was a very, very defensive game, guys. I enjoyed the game. You know what I mean? It was, a little bit frustrating offensively, but defensively we got 4 picks. We were generating that pressure. We only allowed 1 touchdown that came in around the 4th quarter. So, I think it was about as good as you can get. In terms of, from a defensive perspective on the offense. We didn't squeeze as many points maybe as we should have, but it's like I told you, I feel like we just got some little missed, opportunities. On the first drive with the missed 4th down. That was, the big one. It was right there on the 10-yard line. So that was big. And also, McVay kind of played very aggressively in this game and went for it a lot in 4th downs. So, it was a good different type of game, but I did enjoy the game. I felt like it kind of showed that they can adapt to, different types of situations. And I think I saw somebody on Instagram or Twitter comment that, it shows, the strengths of the Rams team, when one piece of the team, is, isn't showing up, and is having like the rough time, the rough day, the other side, comes up pretty big. And I feel like I've kind of shared that sentiment for a while, even maybe since partly last year. So I'm pretty stoked about that win, and we're at an 8-2. It feels pretty good, because the last couple years we had to like go and get it out the mud. So I'm pretty stoked about this, So we're in the 2 seed, Sam, and I'll crit the Seahawks because we still have to play them in really like 1 month from today, and maybe even in the playoffs perhaps. So we'll see, but I'm very pleased with Week 12's results.
And of course, we played the infamous Big Lose Raiders.
Yeah.
I was honestly kind of sad because I was like, damn, like I really wanted to talk about this game the week before we played it. Again, if you guys don't know, he's been on the show before, my brother, Big Lou. I credit him a lot for teaching me about sports. Fun fact, he actually tried teaching me about basketball, but I don't know why, I just never adapted to it. Mm-hmm. But for sure, he got me into baseball. He's never really been like a crazy baseball guy, but like he got me into it. And of course, football, he actually did get me into it.
Yeah.
But one of his things that he's always hated is that I never became a Raiders fan, which again, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
But I ended up gravitating towards the Cowboys. So when the Cowboys and Raiders play, like it's always this year it wasn't, because I guess like the Cowboys are kind of like up in the air still, but the Raiders are ass this year. They're pretty ass.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as crazy as like prior years, but like the Thanksgiving game where Anthony Brown just forgot how to play football, and then the card game where Jeff Heath pushed their card and he ended up fumbling.
Yeah.
And other than that, there's another game. I was like super young, so I'm not gonna remember, but I think the Cowboys ended up winning. Every time they play, it's always fun to banter with my brother. But this time, other than that, putting my brother to the side, obviously for the Cowboys, it hadn't been a great couple weeks, besides the trade deadline, but we got manhandled against the Broncos, which I think a lot of us Cowboys fans kind of expected.
Yeah.
We got manhandled against the Cardinals, which we didn't expect, but those are 2 teams that we don't always end up having great games against. I don't know why. It's just always been like that. But we ended up going to the bye week. It was a very much needed bye week, and we ended up making some splashes in the trade market. We got Logan Wilson. He really didn't I saw he was on the field a couple times, but he never really went like crazy or nothing like that. Quinnen Williams, though, we got him from the Jets, and I think he might have gotten 2 sacks actually. I don't think for sure he got 1, but I think there might be a chance he got 2. That again, yes, I know. Before I continue, yes, it's just the Raiders, but hey, when your team looks good, you're gonna be proud of it, and especially the couple weeks where we had it. But our defense just looked solid. Our defensive line was setting the tone. I think Kenny Clark got a sack, Quinnen Williams got a sack, Osa was close to getting a sack, and then eventually like a play later he ended up getting that sack. Ashley Genty, which he hasn't really been doing much all year, but they ended up stopping him pretty good. And then even to the point where our defensive backs were looking good. Kalen Carson, who was like a very, very how can I say it? Very quiet player, I guess you can say. Last year, when of course we were asked last year as well, but he was actually making some splashes. Him and Josh Butler. I'm waiting for Josh Butler to come back as well. Kalen Carson came back, I believe, 2 games ago, and he ended up playing the most defensive snaps amongst the defense on Monday. And what's it called? Shavon Revel made his debut. Didn't really do much. My Texas Longhorn, Demarion Overshown, came out. He didn't really make any splashes either. But we ended up getting an interception. Kenneth Murray deflected a pass, and it fell right to Marquise Bell's hands. And I'm trying to think what else. Kenneth Murray. He has not been playing good all year, but I got to give him credit. He was all over the field on Monday, which is great to see because he was doing horrible. I remember people were kind of excited. They thought he was an underdog when he came to the trade market before the season started.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of excitement with him, but it didn't pan out the way we wanted to. But against the Raiders, he did look pretty good. And of course, first drive of the game, you don't see CD and George Pickens out there, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, why? And I was heated. I texted my brother. I was like, I don't give a fuck if they rob the bank, bro. Like, I want my fucking receivers out there.
Yeah.
And they didn't. They weren't out there. And of course, it did bite us in the ass. It was a horrible 3-and-out. But as soon as they got in the game, they both made their statement. CD had 5 catches for 66 yards, and George Pickens had like 9 catches with 148 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think CD had a touchdown as well. They both ended up going off, and it was good. It was fun. Definitely a win we needed, but the next game's gonna be tough. But we'll get there when we get there. But with that being said, let's go ahead and head towards our Week 12 picks. Starting off with Thursday night game, the Buffalo Bills taking on the Houston Texans.
Yeah, all right. So, guys, Buffalo, they're kind of having a shaky season, compared to years prior. But I think that they're are they going off the bye week? Who do they play this week?
The Bills?
Yeah.
I feel like they played that.
Oh, they played Tampa Bay. That's right. That was a really good win, honestly. That's why I was kind of confused a little bit. But they did play a little bit of an injured Tampa Bay team, but that was kind of a big win that they did need. So now they're coming in at the record of 7-3.
Yeah, dude.
So that is very impressive right there. Only like 2 wins off the AFC East, leading Patriots. So this is gonna be a big game, guys. And on the contrary, the 5-5 Houston Texans, guys. So they're kind of salvaging the season a little bit, right? It did start off really bad. They started looking at 2-5, I believe, or 2-4. But now they're at 5-5, obviously. So that's honestly, it's pretty decent. They got themselves in a pretty decent shape. But CJ Stroud's not gonna be playing in this game, Sam. He's out. I believe. I forgot if it was an injury or concussion. But he's not gonna be playing in this game. CJ Stroud is gonna be missing this game. And Houston will have some other injuries on the front, so it's gonna be an interesting game. Davis Mills is gonna come in. He's been in the league for quite a while. I think give him definitely a chance. But I got the Bills, Sam. I gotta go with the Bills.
Oh my God, that's 2 shots.
That's 2 shots. We're getting a little drunk. Right?
Technical difficulties, but go for it.
All right, so that guy, CJ Stroud's gonna be missing this game, so it's gonna be hard for Houston to win. I feel, because Buffalo, if it gets into a shootout, Josh Allen is that guy, and Davis Mills has been in the NFL for a while, but I gotta go with the Buffalo Bills. I gotta ride the hot hand, Sam. Give me the Bills, get to 8-3 right there.
And CJ Stroud, obviously, the Texans haven't been much all year as it is. Maybe not as much as they should have been when they first, considering after last year's run that they had. But the Bills, it's weird seeing like how the Bills and the Chiefs are in like the top teams, like as they would usually be, right? Yeah. But this one should be a game that the Bills do end up losing. Yes, they still haven't. He's looking good. There should be a team that the Bills aren't losing. Of course, they're 7-3, but even then, like, it's not the 7-3 Bills that we would be used to.
Mm-hmm.
But with David Mills starting, it should be a win for them. But it is a Thursday night game. Thursday night games are wonky.
Yeah.
We had a classic with the Raiders and Broncos last week, so we'll see who ends up taking it out. But I also got the Bills.
Yeah, Bills.
And up next, we got the Green Bay Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings.
Damn, go Pack, go! So, guys, the Packers, they're coming in with a little bit of an injury. They got Emmanuel Wilson coming in for Josh Jacobs after the win in the New York Giants last week, and it was a bit of a close game, Sam. Against the New York Giants. So it really didn't come that easy for the Green Bay Packers in Week 11. So now it's Week 12, and they got to play one of their best rivals, right? Their best friends, and the Minnesota Vikings, who, they've had a rough year, no doubt about it. It seems like they're not going to be, anywhere near the playoffs. Their division almost seems like it, but not them. So, yeah. Alright.
It's the same shit George listens to.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out George. Alright. Okay.
I'll just continue.
But it's I don't know, this game. Kind of want to pick the Vikings. I did kind of want to pick the Vikings, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with Green Bay. But I do think that the Green Bay could be on upset alert, Sam, because last week was a little bit shaky against the Giants. I don't know if you saw that game.
I didn't see it, but I saw like the score. So
yeah, it was a 1-score game. But Minnesota's been having a rough year. I feel like even if they win this game, it's going to be hard to climb that hill. But if they want to have a little bit of a positive on the year, they could beat Green Bay. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Green Bay is gonna get to the 7-3-1. So
Yeah, obviously as a Cowboys fan, I always hate the Packers to begin with, but the fact with Michael Parsons in it, and now Michael Parsons starting to
yeah,
come into his own now, unfortunately. But I would love to pick the Vikings as well, and I don't blame you for the whole upset alert thing, but I just think this is a game where the upset could happen, but at the same time, it's not really something you want to put the house on.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, I do got to pick the Packers as well. But I think this is going to be a defensive battle. I think it's going to end up being a low-scoring game, a 17-10, or a random-ass score like that. But I got the Packers as well. Next, this is going to be a good game. Indianapolis Colts taking on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Damn, guys, this is gonna be a good game. Guys, the Chiefs are 5-5.
And the Colts are 8-2.
Yes, this is crazy. The Chiefs, this is the first time that they've been, around 5-5 for a while. I know that the first year in 2023 when they won the Super Bowl, they were like 11-6, but I don't think they were at 5-5 at any point in that year. It's kind of crazy. So it's gonna be wild to see, if they can climb back. So I'm kind of intrigued by it. But I mean, they almost did beat the Denver Broncos. It was a field goal game, so it's not like they got blown out or anything, right? They've kind of played, their games a little bit close all year, but it's interesting, now we got 7-8 games.
Yeah.
7-8 games left, and they're at 5-5, so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. And on the flip side, the fucking Colts are coming in off their bye week, Sam. I mean, and 8-2, looking pretty, sitting pretty atop the AFC. You know what I mean? Right there with the Patriots and the Broncos as well. And I mean, it's just kind of crazy for me. Like Patriots, the Broncos, and the Colts are all the top teams in the AFC. Like, what the fuck?
Well, the Broncos I expected to be there.
I mean, I didn't expect them to be like a top team. I expected them to be a playoff team, but honestly, not a playoff. This top three. Top three. It's pretty crazy to me, but I support it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, to see. So. It's gonna be an interesting game. And the Colts, obviously, they have a lot of the guys that I like, like Daniel Jones and Tyler Warren, Jonathan Taylor, of course, playing at the MVP level, and their offensive line is, of course, the best offensive line in football. So and of course they got Sauce Gardner too. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, I forgot about that too.
And they have of course, you had the week to marinate. So it's gonna be real interesting to see what happens. I mean, the Chiefs are gonna have to fucking nut up and go on a tear here to keep their season alive. I mean, it's not over if they lose this one, but it'll be very telling. I feel like, and I feel like they'll get very slandered within the media. So I know the house is probably on the Colts, but I can't ever pick against the Chiefs, Sam. I know. I can't pick against them yet, even when they've lost all these big games, but I gotta go with the Chiefs, Sam. They gotta fix it at some point, and I think it'll be this week.
And for me, on the other hand, I'm gonna go with the latter. I'm gonna go with the Colts. I think, well, one, considering the fact he says they're gonna have to go on a tear here to be able to keep their season alive, and if it's true, that tear includes my Dallas Cowboys. So of course, I don't want that to happen. But the Colts, man, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy to see. It's cool turnaround after a year, but with Danny Jones at their home and Jonathan Taylor having a run of his life right now, they're an exciting team to watch. And I love the exciting teams to watch where it's like you don't have hatred against them. Yeah. So that sounds funny, but where you don't have hatred against them. Colts never done anything to the Cowboys. They're not a division rival or even NFC rival or nothing like that.
Hey, did you give them that Super Bowl, no?
Yeah, bro, I wasn't even alive. I wasn't even alive.
That's a joke.
But other than that, though, this is a fun game to see, especially because it's considering the Chiefs in the midst of a dynasty, or who knows, maybe it could be the end of the dynasty. Mm-hmm. But with the Colts, are a super fun team. They're exciting to watch. This is definitely going to be a game that I'm gonna put on the bottom right here where it says games to watch. I have the Colts.
Hell yeah.
Up next, we got the New York Jets taking on the Baltimore Ravens.
Damn, guys, the 5-5 Baltimore Ravens versus the 2-8 New York Jets.
And what that's crazy to say. From 1-5 to 5-5.
Yeah, like, it is. Yeah, it was kind of. I mean, I think the last loss they had was to us actually, which is crazy. I mean, when that happened, I felt like maybe their season was over if Lamar didn't get back. But I mean, he came back. He came back pretty quick, and they had their bye week, and they've been able to reassess things. So it's like I tell you, like we were able to do something similar last year. We started off at 1-4, so I felt like they had the people in place, to the roster and everything in place, and the coaching staff, of course, with John Harbaugh in place to make this kind of run, and they're right here, right at 5-5. So it's pretty cool, to see. It's very awesome, because like it was teetering off pretty hard, honestly, and now they're right where the Chiefs are as well. So we'll see which one of them is gonna climb back, but I feel like the more favorable schedule is in Baltimore's favor, and of course it starts with the New York Jets. With no disrespect to the New York Jets, the New York Jets guys fucking suck this year. I mean, it's like ridiculous with the Jets. Like, I mean, they are kind of getting the new regime going. They obviously traded a bunch of guys at the deadline, and I feel like we'll trade more people after the year's over, and sign new people, and of course use those draft picks to full potential. But how the fuck are they gonna keep you with the Ravens? Like, what? So I think this one's a simple pick for anybody. I mean, this isn't my lock of the week, but is it?
No, it's not.
It's not. So I usually would, but just go ahead and take the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, again, it's crazy to see, because we're already like counting them out earlier in the year, saying that they're done, 1-5, they're not gonna be able to come out of this, and hell, they shut us up, 5-5. It's cool to see, a cool little turnaround to see, like in season. At this point, their playoff hopes are well alive, more than like, oh, they're alive, there's a chance. Like, no, there's a chance that they could possibly make it at this point. Yeah. Jets, on the other hand, traded like half their fucking team away.
Yeah.
So this one's not going to be a hard, almost picked the wrong one. It's not going to be a hard pick to make, of course. I got the Ravens as well. Jets, on the other hand, I mean, there's not really much to say. They traded away the best corner, they traded away the best defensive tackle. Thank you. But other than that, there's not really much to say to this one. The Ravens should take it. Up next, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Chicago Bears.
And Baltimore's best friend is going to be playing in a big game against the Bears. The Bears, Sam. They're 7-3. Oh my goodness, what? I could not ever believe this, guys. As much as I slander the Bears all the time, they've impressed, and now they're 7-3. That's wild. And actually, Sam, this is going to sound crazy too, but they're also first place in the NFC North. Did you know that? That's fucking wild.
Figured it.
Like, what? The Bears at first place? I can't believe it. The season doesn't feel real, Sam. What the hell?
Honestly.
Where all these teams come from. But, yeah, I mean, the Bears, I feel like even now, like, they've been able to clean up everything that last year was kind of affecting them. And it was making them lose games, and Caleb Williams and them have been playing real well. So it's not a lot of things to nitpick about the last couple weeks with the Bears. But with the Steelers, it is kind of the opposite, because they have been, playing a little bit rocky. But they did get a nice win last week, and of course, it does seem a little bit like they could maybe lose the AFC North. They could lose it. But I don't know, guys. It's gonna be an interesting game, and it's gonna be a big game. The 7-3 or 6-4. So they'll both, somebody's gonna either have like the same record, or somebody's gonna go a little bit up. I mean, 8-3 Bears. What the fuck? Like, that's crazy to say, but I don't think, I do think 8-3 Bears is gonna happen. I don't get it out. I get that, but no, I do think. I mean, I guess it won't be much of an upset, but they are the betting underdog, and that's who I'm gonna put some money on, guys. I'm gonna put like $30 on it. you guys put a little risk on it, But I do feel like the Bears are much improved from where they have been in the last couple of years, and it's gonna be interesting. Aaron Rodgers versus the Bears is like a tale as old as time. So I got the Bears, guys. It's like the Bears team that's breaking generational curses. But I got the Bears in this game.
Yeah, man, this one was a tough one to pick. The Bears are 7-3. It's shocking to hear. Of course, they're amongst a group of teams that are at the top, where it's shocking to hear the Colts, the Patriots, excuse me, the Broncos. So it is weird to see, but I'm still not convinced just yet. I hate the Steelers. The Steelers are amongst the teams that I can't fucking stand. But other than that, I do got to pick the Steelers as well. Oh, I'm sorry, on my own, I got to pick the Steelers here. This one could be a good pick for my win column, but I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be a tough gridiron game here, but I got the Steelers on this one.
Yeah.
Up next, we got the New England Patriots, the aforementioned Patriots, taking on the Cincinnati Bengals.
The fucking Patriots, the 9-2 Patriots. So, and the Bengals are 3-7. Holy shit! I didn't know. Damn, Bengals are really going through it, guys. I mean, they made that trade for Joe Flacco, waiting for Joe Burrow's arrival next month, but it looks tough. And the New England Patriots, they're 9-2. Like, that's crazy. That's another team that it's like, what? They're a top league, and it's.
You called it.
I did call it. I mean, I don't know if I called it this far, but I thought they were gonna be a wild card. But man, they're leading the division, and I feel like at this point they're gonna win it. Honestly, even if they lose to the Bills, it's like the second time. I feel like they're probably gonna win it. So it looks pretty good for the Patriots. I mean, the schedule's pretty light, and they got the Bengals. I think this will be a little bit of a tough game. Because the Bengals, they don't quit, right? They have some really good playmakers there, of course, all the time. It'll be an interesting game. So, I don't know if you remember, but last year, in week 1, the fucking Patriots knocked off the Bengals, remember?
Yeah.
And it was a big upset win. And so now, the turntables have turned, Sam. So we'll see what happens. But I got the fucking Patriots. Sam going at 10-2. Holy shit, Sam. 10-2 Patriots? What? I got the Patriots going at 10-2, guys. I mean, I feel like Patriots as the strongest team, one of the strongest teams in football. I feel like they're a top 3 team in football. I feel like they're the best team in the AFC. And I just feel like Drake May, he may just win MVP, guys. So yeah, that's what I gotta say, Sam.
Yeah, man, the 9-2 Patriots, and of course, it's not even like thinking like, oh my god, what a weird turn from last year compared to this year. Like, no, it's like, what a weird turn from week 1. They lost against the Raiders week 1.
Yeah, that's true.
And now they're building themselves up to being 9-2, could potentially being 10-3, leading the division with the Buffalo Bills and their division as well. But I'm gonna have to pick the Patriots here too. Patriots are, I mean, I hate to say it because like they just had a dynasty not that long ago. But they are another exciting team that's cool to see the turnaround. Mm-hmm. I've seen all the memes on Instagram where they're like, oh, it's great to be a Patriots fan after years of scrutiny, obviously being sarcastic, but years of scrutiny to see their team turn around. Which, when you think about it in that perspective, yeah, it does like, all right, bro, like you already had your run, let the other teams enjoy it. Yeah. But even then, like, it is fun to see. The Bengals, on the other hand, obviously they've always had their O-line issues, they've always had like the defensive issues, but now they don't have a quarterback that they can trust and lock in with. Of course, Joe Burrow being out. It is a crazy fall off to see from them, but it happens any given Sunday. But I got the Patriots as well. Yeah. Up next, we got the New York Giants taking on the Detroit Lions. Poor Giants.
Damn, guys. So the Giants versus the Lions. So I will say the Giants have been fighting this year, Sam. We've seen the Giants fighting every game they played, and they did just that last week against the Green Bay Packers. So it was a one-score game, and I was watching that game. It was a pretty good game, so I was entertained by that. On the Lions side, they did have a little bit of a disappointing loss last week against Philadelphia, only scoring 9 points, and they went like 0 for 5 on 4th down conversions. So I mean, I feel like feel like that was kind of like a little bit of a like humbling and learning experience for them, Dan Campbell, because I mean at that point, like in that close of a game, it was a defensive game. I feel like you got to the points. You know what I mean? So it was interesting to see that. I kind of feel like Detroit can kind of win that game, and they're kind of that because they were kind of ripping through teams, after the loss to the Packers. But now they've had kind of like some shaky losses in back-to-back weeks against the Vikings and not the Eagles. But it's a fucking get right game, Sam. And that's one of I feel like it's one of football fans' favorite kind of games. I do feel like New York could pose somewhat of a challenge, but I just got Detroit. I feel like Detroit's just gonna do everything they can to stomp the competition out. They're 6-4, right? They're kind of falling behind in that race, behind the Bears now. So they gotta get ahead. They're actually third in the North now, so they gotta get ahead. So I'm gonna predict them getting to 7-4 this week with I'm not gonna say a big win against New York, but maybe a 10-point kind of win against New York.
Yeah, it's crazy to see the NFC North. The battle is good. It's beginning to develop. Lions at 6-4, Bears at 7-3, the Packers at 6-4-1.
Yeah,
crazy, right? But I always say it whenever a good team takes an embarrassing loss, they play pissed off after.
Yeah,
and yes, against the New York Giants. But before I continue, though, I'm gonna defend Cam Scatterbo. Obviously, he was on Monday Night Raw, beefing with the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, everybody was all mad, saying like, "Oh, like, what are you doing there? This, and that." Bro, let him enjoy his life. Like, what the fuck is he supposed to do? Just sit at home, just bored, just
there,
injured and shit? Like, what is he supposed to do?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. The whole like when they're scrapping thing, like, yeah, that was a little bit unnecessary. But even then, bro, like, he's not doing that.
Yeah.
He's done for the year. Like, what else do you expect the guy to do? But other than that, back to the football. It's funny the little run where they had so much hype with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. Of course, Jackson Dart. Yeah, he's still playing. I don't know why I thought he wasn't. But Jackson Dart's still playing. But even then, like, let the guy live.
Yeah.
But again, the Lions are gonna play pissed off. Obviously, meaning my pick is gonna be the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Should be a fun one. I don't think it will be a game where it's gonna be as close. I think it'll be a good dominant win for the Lions. Probably something that they feel like they need, especially with the week 12 coming in, the season starting to the end of the season starting to come closer and closer. They need that dominant wins to continue the momentum. Again, this is another team that the Cowboys play later, so this is going to be scary, but it is what it is. We'll take it on the chin. Hopefully we just don't get embarrassed, but other than that, I got the Lions.
Oh, yeah.
Up next, we got Seattle Seahawks taking on the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, guys, so Seattle, they did play us pretty tough last week, guys. I won't lie. I did say it earlier. Their defense did play, phenomenal. I would say, by my standards. But their offense, looked very shaky. Like I said, only squeezing out some field goals and a touchdown at the end. So, it'll be interesting to see how they respond to the loss from last week. And I think they're gonna stomp the fuck out of the Titans, Sam. I mean, it's gonna be. I feel like they're gonna, like you say, I feel like good teams respond pissed, and unfortunately, I do feel like the Seahawks are a good team, and the Titans are unfortunately in that rebuild year. I do feel like some weeks they have shown fight, but recently they have played, real underwhelming. They are coming off a bye week, so they will be well rested for this game, but they are still growing and they are still learning, what kind of team they are. So it's going to be a little bit ugly, I feel. I do feel like the Seahawks are my lock of the fucking week, Sam. Put the fucking rent on it. Put the fucking house payment on it. Take out a second mortgage. The fucking Seahawks are going to beat the fuck out of the Titans this week. And y'all are going to get rich off that. So.
The Titans are 1-9. Yeah. Not a shock, but even then, just to see a team 1-9, that is wild, right? But other than that, Seahawks, of course, they put up a good fight against the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah. It was actually a really good game. There's a point where I thought, like, the fact that it was 21-19, I was like, oh wow, like they're actually like battling.
Yeah.
But the Titans, they're not going to be much of a of a fight that they shouldn't be, at least, right? But they're not going to be much of a fight. This should be a game that Seattle ends up taking pretty nice manhandling of the Titans. Not really much to look forward to if you're a Titans fan. I feel bad for Titans fans at this point, but it is what it is. I got the Seahawks taking this one.
Yeah.
Next, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Arizona Cardinals.
Damn, the Jags versus the Cardinals, guys. So, Jacksonville was able to get quite the win last week against the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, they blew the fuck out the Chargers, and that I didn't really expect. So, Jacksonville is right back into the playoff conversation at 6-4, and you know it's gonna be good to see. Yeah, because I thought they were kind of like falling off a little bit. I did think they were, slipping a little bit, and they might have not been able to, come through. But we'll see what happens in this game. For the Cardinals side, they got beat the fuck out of by the Niners, and actually Jacoby Brissett actually set an NFL record. And did you see what passing completions?
I didn't actually.
He did. He completed 47 passes for 57 attempts.
Damn, what the fuck?
Yeah, he had like 450 yards. But they still lost by 19 points, Sam. I mean, this is the Cardinals. What the hell? But I do feel like, I honestly, I don't really know what I feel like. That's kind of crazy, you know what I mean? Because he actually had a really good performance there. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in this game. I do feel like the Cardinals could beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, honestly, with how, somewhat, I guess, explosive their offense could be. But the Jags, Sam, they're building, and Josh Hines-Allen, with his sack this past week, he become the franchise leader in sacks. So, I feel like they've built really quite a defense there. And I just feel like they're gonna get to 7-4 here. So give me the Jacksonville Jaguars, Sam. I think it's gonna be a close game for sure. I don't think it's gonna be no blowout or nothing. But I got the Jaguars winning this game against the Cardinals.
So as I was setting up for the episode, I really didn't pay attention to the Jaguars Chargers game, but once I saw the score, I was like, "Damn, what the fuck happened?" Yeah. So Chargers are frauds, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, but the Chargers are frauds. I feel like this is a thing that kind of happens a lot for some reason for the Chargers, but any given Sunday.
Yeah.
The Jaguars, on the other hand, they've been looking pretty decent. I feel like they could probably snatch a wild card spot, though they go far. Who knows? Cardinals, on the other hand, I did not know that about Jacoby Brissett freaking setting 47 out of 57. That is crazy.
Yeah.
But do I think this is a game the Cardinals are going to take? No, I am going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know. I just feel like, well, maybe I could just bring up the whole thing where the team plays pissed off after they lose bad, right?
Yeah.
They lost. What was the score? Or no, they ended up winning. My bad. Why did I fucking bring that up? My fault. Excuse me for that. But yeah, at the end, I do think, who knows, maybe it's a good momentum thing on their side.
Yeah.
They beat the shit out of the Chargers. They could potentially beat the shit out of the Cardinals. Who knows? But I got the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
Up next, I forgot to put it. Fuck. I'll put it right here. Mid game of the week.
Yeah, the mid bowl.
The mid bowl, that's what it was. The Raiders
2-8,
taking on the
2-8.
Cleveland Browns. A battle of the 2-8s.
Damn, guys. The Raiders coming off that rough loss against the Dallas Cowboys. That was a bad loss for the Raiders. And it's been a bad season for the Raiders. All around, I think they had like a lot of hype coming into the year, but they haven't been able to really do anything. Ashton Jeanty had a horrible game in Dallas, so it's again another team that perhaps you could say is growing. And Geno Smith is definitely not going to be there next year. I feel like we kind of agree on that. We'll see what happens with this game. I think they are. I'm not sure if they're the betting. They are the betting favorite. Actually, they are the favorites for this game. Cleveland side, they've also had a rough year. Sam, another team that's had a rough year. Again, probably expectedly. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. They've had some of the little bright spots, like with Quinshon Judkins, the rookie running back. I do like him, I'm a fan of him, and some other rookies. But again, probably a team that's really just growing. But one of their bright spots is getting the start this week, Sam, or potential bright spots. Shadur Sanders is going to be playing. He's going to be starting his first game. He did play a little bit last week, but this is going to be... Oh, shit. Damn, that's like horrible.
Go for it.
he's gonna be getting his first official start in the NFL, Sam. So it's gonna be really cool to see what he does. Of course, they're gonna bring the game plan from him, for him this week, and I'm really excited, Sam, to see honestly what he does in this game. He didn't play too bad last weekend. He made some decent plays. So we'll see what happens. And I got Shadur Sanders winning his first career start, Sam. So the Cleveland Browns are gonna get to 3-8. It's obviously an unsalvageable season, but we'll see what we can salvage with the rookie. I got them doing that, so.
Of course, it's the Raiders, I know, but it's the week after my receivers, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, tore them up after they almost betted their lives away. But when it comes to these teams, this is such a funny ass game, bro. But when it comes to these teams, obviously they got exposed last week. Shador Sanders is starting. That's going to be very interesting. I was kind of a Shador hater at first, but then I kind of just realized I was like, all right, it did kind of suck. I don't know if the whole blackball situation thing is kind of corny, but it did. It is kind of tough to see him lose or fall to the 4th or 5th round, whatever pick he ended up getting drafted at. But this is going to be a game where I feel like it's low-key exciting.
Yeah.
It's going to be low-key exciting. The battle of who ends up getting a better pick, I guess. It's like the only thing at stake here. But who knows? I feel like the Raiders, on the other hand, are kind of a team that just kind of, I don't know, it just seems like they're lost. They don't know what direction they're heading, especially with Geno Smith, the quarterback. Geno Smith, I guess that 1 year where with the Seattle, they ended up, it was a fluke year, I guess you can say. The whole quote that he said where it was like, oh,
yeah.
What was it? They wrote me off, but I didn't write back yet. It's time to write back. It's time to write back. But with Ethan, I'm going to have to agree here. I got the Browns as well. This one could have been a toss-up, honestly. Whatever team that are both shit has played a little bit better. The Browns have some decent wins under their belt. They beat the Packers. And it was a, 13-10 game or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So the Browns could probably take this one. I hope so. Let my brother drown in his sorrows, but we'll see from there. Next, the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Go for it, because I'm about to go on a tyrant.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be America's Game of the Week, guys. So it's going to be very, very exciting. We're going to see what happens. I did really enjoy the first game. This was the opener. The opener of the season. It was 30-24, right? In score. It was a very enjoyable game. And, you really got to see what Dallas's offense, how explosive they could be. But now they're a little bit of a, at a crossroads. We're at 4-5-1, and this is a test game. And really, the next month is a whole test of a gauntlet. So it'll be really interesting. But I feel like if Dallas can win this game, they can get to even keel, and they can look forward to those games and see how they can play. And they played real well against the Raiders, so I am kind of excited to see how they play again in this game. And they're at home too, so they're at home. For Philadelphia, I mean they have been eking out wins, and that game against Detroit was very close, but they are still the first seed in the NFC, unfortunately, Sam. So it's gonna be an interesting game here, Sam. I'll tell you, I'm very, very intrigued by this game because it was very close the first time. I mean, you remember the lightning delay or the rain delay?
Oh my god! I remember how tired I was the next day.
That was funny. That was very funny. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens in this game. I'm very, very excited to see this game, Sam. And I am rooting for the Cowboys to win this game, but unfortunately I gotta go with the Eagles, Sam. I do have to go with the Eagles. They're obviously the stronger team right now. But it is kind of like a thing where it's like I'm picking the Eagles just in case that you guys do lose, so that it's like, okay, well, at least I have this. So I'm gonna be rooting for the Cowboys this week, guys, because if the Eagles lose and we win, then we're the first seed. So how about them Cowboys? But I think the Eagles will get the win.
I'm nervous, man. I'm so nervous. But I'll take it back to week 1. the hype that I had. I thought, well, I was right about the offense. We're gonna have a great offense. And we've had a great offense. We kind of were slow before the Raider game, but even then, the year we've been having with Javonte at our running back, Dak's been having a crazy year. CD and George Pickens are working tremendously. They're flowing together. Our defense has been shit. That's what's been shooting us in the foot all year. But at the beginning of the year, I did think our defense would be at least manageable. They are not nowhere near that. But of course, week 1 was exciting. I kind of knew that it was going to be a game, and it was. I still say it's probably one of the most funnest losses I've ever seen. But unfortunately, we're at the point where we can't be taking any losses. We're 4-5-1. It's week 12. The playoffs are coming near and near. Don't get me wrong. I feel like we still have a lot of hype and a lot of momentum towards us, but we do have a slim chance at that playoff spot.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to win the East. The Eagles will have to fucking just fall off the wagon and somehow lose all the rest of the games. So we're not going to win the East. But even then, the chance of a playoff spot is there. But what we need to happen here is that our defense needs to lock the fuck in. Mm-hmm. Our offense, I'm not as worried about. Hell, if it takes GP3 and CD going back to the casino in Dallas, fuck it. I don't care if they end up sitting out for that first drive. Screw it. Do it. If it works, it works. It clearly worked for GP3 because he had 9 catches with 143 yards. So if it works, it works. But obviously, in reality, this is a game. Not only this game, obviously, but this is a game that we need to win to set the tone for the next couple of weeks because we got the Eagles, and after that we got the fucking Chiefs on Thanksgiving, and then I think it's the Lions after that, and I think we play like the Vikings or some shit, and I know the Chargers are thrown in there, and then I think it's probably Commanders. No, we played the Commanders twice already. Did we play the Giants twice already? I don't think so. No. So I think we have the Giants left, which is the fucking Giants. But this is a win that we need to set the tone. You guys already know how this is gonna go, though. I am gonna pick my Dallas Cowboys to win. Yeah. I'm not even gonna say like, oh, I know that it's gonna be a tough battle. No, we need to win this game. We need to win it in order to keep our season alive. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I know it's gonna be a battle because I'm sure everybody in that locker room knows the stake that is at hand, and the fact that this is a must-win, especially against our divisional opponent. And it's a rivalry game. You gotta love rivalry games. Doesn't matter what the records show, especially with the Cowboys and Eagles. They always go to war. It's gonna be fun to watch. But I, fortunately, this day I have to actually go to sleep mad early because I go in at work Monday at like 2 a.m. So hopefully I go to sleep with a win. But who knows? All right. Up next, we got the Atlanta Falcons taking on the New Orleans Saints.
All right, guys. So we got
ignore the records. I fucked up the records.
The classic NFC South rivalry, guys. The Falcons, the Dirty Birds versus the Saints. So, unfortunately, the Falcons, they have had a terrible season, guys, and it was like a lot of high hopes, but it's been rough. I mean, they came in with those 3 wins at the beginning of the year, and they were looking honestly really good. But it's just become, it's fallen off since then. Unfortunately, I believe I've read today that Michael Penix has had a minor ACL tear, so it'll be the Kirk Cousins show for the rest of the season. So it'll be, again, like building. Like I say, I feel like a building year. I feel like the NFC South, I feel like is getting a little tight between Panthers and Bucs, but I do feel like the Falcons are unfortunately out of that picture. For the Saints, they were able to get a win a few weeks ago against the Panthers, which was actually really surprising. And they were able to they actually had a bye week this past week, so they were able to rest up a little bit and get everything figured out. But they're still kind of in that building phase 2, so 2 building teams, but there's still 2 teams that hate each other. Still 2 rivals, so they're still gonna play each other, tough, of course. It'll be real interesting to see what happens in this game. It's there in that 2 o'clock window too. With America's Game of the Week, so I'll probably have it on the little TV over here. But I'll be watching. But I do think the Dirty Bird, Sam. I mean, I do like to pick. I would usually pick the Saints. I probably should pick the Saints, but I do think the Falcons will, want to, get a little bit of vengeance, for Michael Penix and just for the season, how it's gone. And, I feel like a lot of people are not expecting them to win this game, Sam. But I do think they will come out and they'll play strong enough to go in and get the win. Going for 4-7 on the year.
Yeah, man. This one, I mean, the Falcons. What can I say? And it sucks because they got Bijan Robertson, one of my favorite Texas Longhorns ever.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's been going on with him. Michael Penix is out. Kirk, man, that guy's been in the league forever now. But Kirk Cousins is gonna step in. Watch him save. I don't know what the Falcons record is because I messed up on the records. But watch him save them somehow.
3-7.
Oh, they're not serious. Never mind. But even then, like you said, it's a rivalry game. Should be interesting to see. You know, at the end of the day, I feel like if you're a fan of a certain sports team, you should always watch to the end. Doesn't matter if they're 0-8 or they're 8-0. Always watch the end. At the end of the day, these two teams have nothing to look forward to. They have no playoff aspirations whatsoever. But hey, could be an interesting game to watch on your Sunday. Could ruin your Sunday. Could make your Sunday. Who knows? But I'm also gonna pick the Atlanta Falcons as well.
Yeah.
You got it right. Yeah. Oh boy. Up next, the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Guys, my Rams, like I said, they look fucking amazing, guys. 8-2, and you know, and it's very redeeming Saturday. We're sitting at the 2 seed, so it's looking really good this year. But I'm still not content. You know, we still got a lot of games to go. We still got very big games like this one right here against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're at 6-4, and it is like I said earlier. They when I was making my Bucs review, they did. I'm sorry, not my Bucs review, my Bills review.
Yeah.
They did kind of look a little bit. They have a little bit shaky the past couple weeks. They kind of lost footing on the division, and they've I believe they're tied with the Panthers now. So it'll be interesting to see this game, how they treat this game, especially if I have some injuries as well. But for the Rams side, we've been looking pretty sound. I mean, I'm telling you, we've been looking, real good the past couple weeks. The Seahawks game, unfortunately, wasn't as explosive as the previous weeks were, but I feel like that was showed we can thrive in a defensive game too, in a defensive environment. So we can play all types of games. And this is going to be, I feel like, a shootout, because the Bucs, like I said, they're banged up, but Baker Mayfield, he still brings his best. So I'm pretty excited for the game. I want to see it's Sunday Night Football, our first and only Sunday Night Football game of the year. But I couldn't be more excited. I think it came at the right time. It's the perfect time. So I'm really pumped, and we have the opportunity to get to 9-2. And I think that's just what will happen, Sam. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, the Rams are playing, some of the best football right now. I'm excited. We do have some injuries to report. We have some IR. Unfortunately, we have Rob Havenstein, our right tackle, is on IR, and Tyler Higbee, our starting tight end. But I do feel still pretty confident in the people that are behind them, which is Robert McClendon Jr. at right tackle. Well, actually, Rob Havenstein actually missed some time earlier in the year, in the first 5 games, so it doesn't matter if honestly. But yeah, and we have like 4 tight ends, so yeah, I feel like we got a lot of positives right now, and it's good that those are happening right now, because later on we can bring those guys back in, Sam, and everybody's gonna, it's gelling. I feel like it's gelling, it's gelling really good. So I'm excited for the next month. There's some really tough matchups, but I do feel like they could. I'm always gonna pick them, but I just feel like they'll go ahead and they'll win this game, Sam. So the Rams are gonna get to 9-2 1 week before, a couple days before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a good one to watch. Unfortunately, I do have to go to sleep early, so I guess I'll just watch the highlights on the way home. But 6-4, 8-2 is gonna be a really good marquee game. Obviously, you guys not having Rob Havenstein is gonna be tough, but with the connection with Buka and Devontae Adams playing? With his oblique injury? Yeah. So with them two playing, it's gonna be great to see. Obviously, one of my favorite football games I've ever watched was the Bucs and Rams playoff game, where Cooper Kupp was going crazy. And then of course the another Rams game that I've loved is the Rams versus Chiefs Monday Night Football. So I was kind of thinking about that while you're talking about the game and stuff. This one's gonna be good. It's gonna be interesting, but I'm gonna have to go with the Rams.
Yeah.
And this one, what's a hell of a way to end your Sunday?
Yeah.
Two teams that obviously the Rams are leading the West, right? And the Bucs obviously are gonna be leading the South because the South is shit. But two teams that want to get a higher seeding in the playoffs. It's gonna be a battle, man. It's gonna be a battle. Baker Mayfield going against his former team, technically.
Yeah.
Probably not with enough crazy ties like he does
Yeah.
with his past teams, but still, it's gonna be a hell of a game.
Yeah.
I got the Rams taking this one.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Monday Night Football. Carolina Panthers taking on the San Francisco 49ers.
Monday Night Football, guys. This is gonna be an interesting game, guys. I mean, you know, the Panthers. It's like I said, I feel like the Panthers are kind of sneaking up. Sam, they were my sneaky sleeper team of the year, and the Panthers, they won a playoff spot. Sam, they're sitting at 6-5, and the Niners at 7-4. So the Niners currently own that 7 seeder, I believe it is 6 seed. But if the Panthers win this game, they could step right into that spot, and they could also split into they would actually be over the Bucs if we beat the Bucs. So, and then they win this game. So there's a lot at stake. I feel like this weekend, this next couple weeks for the Panthers fans, playoff seasons. But I feel like especially if you're a fan of a team like that, you know, we've been a little bit rough for a long time, and now we're kind of coming into our own, not as quickly as the Patriots or, you know, the Colts have, but we're coming into our own a little bit. I feel like that's very exciting. So I'll be pretty excited for this game, you know, either way. The Niners, unfortunately, they've been plagued with injuries, but they got a huge win after bringing Brock Purdy back in that game against the Cardinals. So this is a very interesting game, I think, honestly. I feel like I'm probably going to watch this. I'm pretty pumped for this one. You know, of course, I'm always rooting against the Niners, you know, but I do feel like, unfortunately, they will win this game. So I do feel like they have all the tools to win this game. That's 3. You know, we're not as drunk today, but I do feel like they have all the tools to win this game. And, you know, like I said, they were very injured, and they seem like they're kind of bringing some guys back. So they're going to want to make a run. I don't want them to, but it looks like they could. But look your eyes out on the Panthers side. So if they win this game, I mean, that's going to be really big for their momentum. And I mean, they shouldn't have lost that game against the Saints in a week. You know, they'd be at a way better spot. Like they'd be at 7-4 right now. But I mean, still, you know, it happens any given Sunday, right? But I mean, I feel like you could give that phrase for this game too, with the Niners being the favorites. But it isn't any given Sunday; it's any given Monday. But I do still have the Niners taking it. But it's gonna be a good Monday Night Football game, Sam. I feel like.
Yeah, I was talking shit about this Monday Night Football game earlier because Panthers beat us, bro. Like this is wild. Obviously, I feel like we're the ones that kind of kickstarted that Panthers little run where they started getting some wins, and now they're 6-5. And again, I'm gonna bring it up each time. The fact that Panthers podcast like quit, so they're like, "Oh, we quit because we're tired of the performance of the team," and now look at them.
Right,
that's the most funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be a good Monday night game. I'm just being stubborn, but I am gonna pick the Niners as well. The Niners, despite the injuries that they had at the beginning of the season, they've been able to keep going, basically. Brock Purdy to George Kittle on that one throw was nice. Yeah. It was a neat throw. Really goes to show that it doesn't matter if it's Mac Jones or Brock Purdy. Unfortunately, they are a good team. But I got the 49ers ending off Week 12 with the win.
Hell yeah.
And other than that, I'm going to like Lucha City Archives.
Yes.
Other than that, though, that is going to be the end of this episode. Of course, we missed last week because of the little conflicting work schedules. We actually work like complete opposite schedules. He works throughout the night. I work early as hell in the morning. Yeah. So it didn't work out. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode before your Thanksgiving. Next week will be the Thanksgiving episode. Yeah. Other than that, I got anything else to say? My name's XiX from XiX Sports Network.
And I'm Ethan from Mistaken for Bacon.
We'll catch you guys next time.